some of America's banks have been discriminating, debanking customers because of their religious beliefs, because they support the Second Amendment, and out of time. Mr. Ring, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Which banks?
Well, I think it's been publicly reported that Bank of America has certainly picked and choose winners.
Who else?
I think Chase Bank has.
Who else?
I think Citibank has.
Fuels.
Who else? We need to get those banks in here, Mr. Chairman. We need to get all those CEOs in here.
Today, we're diving into an explosive moment from Capitol Hill that's got everyone talking. Senator John Kennedy, never one to hold back, grilled bank CEOs over allegations that some of America's biggest banks are discriminating against customers based on their political and religious beliefs. We're talking about the Second Amendment, free speech, and even the energy sector. Senator Kennedy wasted no time. He came straight for the jugular, laying out what many Americans have suspected for years: banks picking and choosing customers based on their political beliefs. So sit back and let's dive right in.
What I hear Mr. McCauley, Mr. Ring, and Mr. Gannon saying is that some of America's banks have been discriminating, debanking customers because of their religious beliefs, because they support the Second Amendment, or because they hate fossil fuels. I don't want to go with all three of you. I'll run out of time. Mr. Ring, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Which banks?
Well, I think it's been publicly reported that Bank of America has certainly picked and choose winners.
Who else?
I think Chase Bank has.
Who else?
I think Citibank has.
Who else?
I think KeyBank has.
Who else?
I'm going to probably run out of names pretty soon, but I think the mega banks are. Old Glory Bank is not, of course. We love the Second Amendment and fossil fuels.
We need to get those banks in here, Mr. Chairman. We need to get all those CEOs in here.
I would agree.
Now, why? I appreciate your candor. Why do you think, are banks doing this because they're scared of the regulators? Or are they doing this because the people running the banks are prosecuting their political beliefs? I mean, when a bank holds a seminar, taking up valuable employee time to discuss whether a man can breastfeed, are they doing that because regulators are leaning on them, or are they doing that because the CEO really thinks that's subject to debate?
I think it's definitely the latter, and I think it's also middle management.
What do you mean the latter?
It is not the regulators. I do not believe the regulators pushed the big banks to debank conservative causes.
Don't?
I do not. I think it was their internal choice by these big banks.
Why?
Well, why? The same reason why big tech pick and choose winners. I think big banks pick and choose winners that they care about, and that's why we need a market solution, because you can't regulate that type of behavior without having unintended consequences. And now every time you get a customer application, you've got to fill out 5 forms as to why you did or did not pick that customer.
So you think that that's the management of these banks that are just imposing their own politics on customers and ultimately to the detriment of shareholders? Is that your testimony?
Yes, sir.
Kennedy didn't just focus on the financial discrimination. He pointed out how these banks waste time on woke nonsense instead of actually serving their customers. He called out bank executives for holding seminars on whether a man can breastfeed. Seriously? Banks are supposed to be handling your money, not debating gender politics. Now let's talk about why this matters to you. Imagine you're a small business owner who supports the Second Amendment. You apply for a loan, and boom, denied. Not because of your credit score, not because of bad business practices, but because some woke executive at Chase Bank doesn't like your values. Or maybe you're a church looking for a bank that aligns with your beliefs. Suddenly your account is shut down. That's not banking. That's political warfare. Kennedy made it clear. This is hurting everyday Americans, and if Congress doesn't step in, it's only going to get worse. So what happens next? Senator Kennedy demanded that the CEOs of these banks be brought in for questioning. Accountability is coming. But will they actually face consequences? That's where we come in. If we want real change, we need to stay informed and keep the pressure on. So here's what you can do right now. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and share this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.